Hey everyone, how are you? Oh, yep, here we go. I was like, is my gain down? No, it is. Hey, how are you? Good to see you. It is Nights with Ping. We're back. We'll hear it with Christmas, and then we were gone yesterday because they had a big uh John Benet Ramsey show yesterday. It went real late into the night, about 4:30 here in Australia, and I just was like, "Hey, everyone's probably exhausted, doesn't want me coming on and yapping for another 2 hours," so I was like, "We'll come back today," and we got a lot of news. There's a story I've been really wanting to cover since, like, maybe, since we disappeared for Christmas. It's the story of, Savannah Soto in San Antonio. That case is really, really interesting, extremely sad too. She's 18 and she's pregnant or was pregnant. They found their bodies on Tuesday afternoon, her and her boyfriend. We're going to talk about more about that in a minute, but it's the case of the moment. Everyone's talking about it. We're going to talk about it too. I want to see everyone in the chat. How is everyone? Hey, Elaine was here earlier. She says, "Hi, Ping and everyone. It's late here in England, so I say ta-ta and farewell." All right, Elaine, have fun with your sleeping. And Petunia's here, Peekaboo Cockatiel, DJ's here. Hey, DJ, hey, buddy. Nana Lana is here. Nana Lana, you sent me an email earlier, but you didn't include the story. So I went to the website and I guessed what story you were trying to tell me about. And I think it's the one about the guy under the bridge. I just had a feeling that's what you'd send me. So let's see if I'm right. Amy 007 is here. Laura G. Kelly in Texas. Blue Moon. Woos is here. She's taken away her joy to the woos. Blue Moon. Hey, Blue Moon. Nancy S. Lindy's here. Hey, Lindy. And Beth B. Hello, darling. How are you? Good to see you. So you guys all know the news now. You all know the news about what's happening at Web Sleuth. Um, as Othram and Web Sleuth have entered into a funding agreement, and basically that's why all the changes. No more donations on that channel. There's because they're funding that particular website now. So because they are funding it, they don't want you know double dipping basically. So yeah, there you go. That's the news, and that's why I'm over here now. So there you go. It all makes sense. I hope you all understand. Uh, Woo says she's got 3 boxes of chocolates for Christmas. Whoa, sugar high for Woos. Let's see. Burnt Popcorn says, I'm porking out on half price Christmas candy. I know Boxing Day sales for like Christmas chocolate and Christmas candies like the best day if you like Christmas treats because you can go to the supermarket uh, and get them. Okay, yeah, let me set up the camera. Sorry, I got wrapped up in talking to you guys. Let me set it up. Oh, no, not settings. I'm rusty. I went away for one day. Now I'm rusty. One day. All right, there we go. Hey guys, how are you? Whoa, where's my hand? Oh, it's a floating hand. How are you guys? I'm here. I promise I'm alive. I'm alive. The sharks did not get me. How are you all? I'm here. I'm okay. It's a crazy week. I feel like when you go on holidays, um it's one of those things you get into a holiday mode and you start sleeping in, staying up late, not adhering to a schedule anymore. That's how it's felt for the last 3 days. Hey, Betty C's here. How are you? Nine Alana, we are live. Yes, hold on. Let me just tell her to refresh so she can watch the show. This is the big story out of San Antonio right now. And I'm sorry, I know Trish probably wants to do this too. I checked her title and it wasn't in there. So she's talking about 2 different cases. But it says the remains of 2 individuals located in Texas on Tuesday afternoon, believed to be 18-year-old woman Savannah Soto, who was reported missing over the weekend, and her boyfriend had gunshot wounds, according to authorities who told the Associated Press on Wednesday. The pair were not among the dead listed at Bexar County Medical Examiner's Office online death records database on Wednesday afternoon. And I had to check on that too on the Bexar County medical examiner. And when I type in her name or anyone else's name, nothing shows up as of yet. I'll show you in a second. They're saying here, whoop, no, we don't need that guy on the screen. It says here, San Antonio Police Chief William McManus said in a press conference late Tuesday evening that detectives right now are looking at this as a possible murder, but we don't know for sure. McManus also stated that the medical examiner would have to confirm the identity of the bodies. He quoted as saying, "It's a very, very perplexing crime scene. It's a complex scene." Soto was last seen Friday in Leon Valley, a city about 10 miles downtown from downtown San Antonio. Soto's family began to grow concerned when she failed to show up to a doctor's appointment. Soto, who was 9 months pregnant, was supposed to be induced the day she went missing. How horrible, right? Oh, is that plane? Go away. Um, she was supposed to be induced. That means she's having the baby, right? So she was supposed to have her baby that day, the day they think that they were killed. That's horrible. She grew that baby for 9 months, and apparently she was overdue by about a week, and the doctors were concerned. That's why she was being induced, according to my research. What's really sad too is DeSoto's brother was murdered a couple of years ago or a year ago. So her family's already dealt with a whole bunch of gun crime loss, violence. And now they've lost their daughter, another daughter who is was supposed to bring life into this world. I can't begin to imagine their pain. I really cannot. It must be just grief stricken is the word I'd come up with. It says, "Who is Savana Soto?" It says Soto's mother, Gloria Cordova, said in a Facebook post a couple of days before Christmas that her daughter never showed up for her doctor's appointment, that she was with her boyfriend, and that she was worried for her safety. Yeah, they actually put out a clear alert in Texas, or however far it goes, from Texas, looking for her because they were worried because she's medically in danger. She needs to have the baby, out and alive, and they were very, very worried for her. And says here, her mum wrote on Facebook, "Prayers for my baby girl." One family member commented on the post, "Dear Lord, please protect her and her baby from the evils of this world." Soto was recently pictured looking like a beaming mother-to-be, smiling in a figure-hugging dress with flowers draped over her tummy. That's that dress right there. Very, very great look. Great dress. The flowers are very cute. Savannah's grandmother, Rachel, wrote on Facebook Wednesday morning that not a good morning for all of us today, but did not want the time, but wait, but did want to time to thank. That's really worded weird, but did want to the time. I think she just wanted to thank everyone for the prayers and support the family are getting. I wish they would right check their, what they put on here. It says here, the Lord took my granddaughter Savannah and her great grandson Fabian home. They are angels along with my grandson Ethan. We will be letting everyone know about her services. Thanks again on behalf of my son Chach and myself and my family. Ay, ay, ay. It's what horrible. It says here, what led up to the discoveries of the bodies? Soto was initially reported missing by family members who were concerned about the young mother since she was pregnant and was past her delivery date. A clear alert was issued for Soto by the San Antonio Police Department, the first law enforcement agency the family contacted. The purpose of the clear alert, or the state's coordinated law enforcement adult rescue alert, is to help police locate and rescue missing, kidnapped, or abducted adults or adults who are in immediate danger of injury or death. The Leon Valley Police Department, who was leading the investigation at the point, was looking for additional witnesses or information. Let's see if we can watch this little thing here, the police press conference. It didn't go for very long.
Everybody ready? Just 1 second. Okay. So what I'm about to tell you, excuse me, what I'm about to tell you is preliminary information and could change, quite possibly will change as detectives get further into the investigation. And what we're looking at right now, I think everybody knows the background on this, so I won't go into it. But what we're looking at right now is a very, very perplexing crime scene. And detectives right now are looking at this as a possible murder, and but we don't know for sure. So again, because of the complexity, the complex crime scene, we can't say for sure what we have. Questions?
How many people were found? Are there people
Two.
inside the car?
There are two people in the car.
Are they dead?
They are deceased. And we believe that it is the missing woman and her boyfriend, but we can't confirm that right now officially until the medical examiner takes a look at the bodies and makes that determination as to their identity.
So that missing woman was pregnant. Do we have any update on the baby?
No, I mean, I can't say for sure. I'm not going to say anything officially about whether the person in the vehicle was pregnant or is pregnant. I can't say that officially, so I'm not going to. We have to wait for the medical examiner to say anything officially. But we do believe that the two individuals are the female who was missing and her boyfriend.
Any weapon inside the car?
We don't know that yet. We have not been able to move the bodies.
Is it a Kia Optima?
Yes, it's the car that was described as the boyfriend's.
Did the family call in about the car?
Yes, the family did.
You know,
They were alerted that the car was here, and they phoned it in.
And that was around 4 o'clock?
I don't know exactly what time it came in.
Do you know how long they may have been here for?
We're thinking possibly for 3 or 4 days.
So who exactly found the car?
I don't know exactly who found it, but the parents were alerted by someone or the family was alerted by someone who came across the vehicle.
Chief, we know that the Clear Alert obviously went out in Leon Valley, but there have been questions on why SAPD did not issue their own alert. Were you ever alerted to any idea that this could be within your jurisdiction?
I believe we became aware of it, but this being originating in Leon Valley, that's why it came out from there, the alert, Clear Alert.
Was there ever any indication that SAPD should have put out a Clear Alert of their own?
No.
So are y'all leading this investigation to the death? Is Leon Valley still involved in the investigation?
No, we are. If there's any information that Leon Valley has, our detectives will work with Leon Valley on that. But the case is an SAPD case right now.
What can you say to the Soto and the Guerra family who are here today?
What can I say to them? Exactly what I just told you.
What makes this complex that you said?
Pardon?
What makes this a complex?
I don't want to go into details about that, but again, I will repeat that it appears to be a very complex crime scene, very perplexing crime scene.
And who
Was
lives
FBI
here?
One more question, guys. One
Was
more
the
question.
FBI ever involved in this investigation, or is anybody else going to be involved with the complexity of it?
No, not unless we reach out to them, but no.
Chief, any of them live here, or why were they here? Do you know?
Anyway,
Do you know why they were here?
no, I don't.
Thank y'all.
Thank you all.
Thank
Thank you.
y'all.
So you heard from him there. Like they said, found in the boyfriend's car, and it was a perplexing crime scene or complicated crime scene. I was trying to think like what would that possibly mean, and I was like maybe they were killed in the car, but there's no bullet holes through the windows or something, and maybe the cops are confused about how that happens. Like, did someone open the door, shoot them, and then close the door or something like that? And they're like, there's no weapon in here, and they don't know why it happened. But it's just speculation on my part. You heard him say there that a reporter asked, "Oh, so what did you say to the family?" And he was just like, "Oh, yeah, I told them what I told you." Like, he was very to the point. He was not messing around. He was just These are the facts, ma'am. That's it. That's all I can tell you. Danny Mitchell says, having technical difficulties here. Are you, buddy? That's not good. I wanted to show you this quickly, just like the paper reported. If you type in her name on the death record search on the medical examiner's office, nothing appears right now. If we type in her last name, there's nothing either. I've typed in the boyfriend's last name, his first name, nothing. So right now, there is no update and there's no listing for them or case ID right now. They're probably holding it because of the magnitude of the case, maybe until they can notify. I don't know who. I don't know who the who they'd have to do to get it released, but it'll happen when it happens. Maybe in the next 24 hours, and then it'll be listed. Marion Landis says not killed in car. Oh, I think they were, well, maybe. That's interesting. Maybe they weren't killed in the car and then put in the car? Could be. Burnt Popcorn said no weapon found means it wasn't a murder. So they said they weren't commenting. Oh, did they say they weren't commenting or they just weren't going to say? I think the implication was there wasn't a weapon or they didn't know. I think they said they didn't know right now if there was a weapon in the car, but I don't think so. And they said they're treating it as a murder right now. So Danny Mitchell says gang affiliation. I have seen some stuff online. I can't verify it. I have seen a little bit about the boyfriend that he had some sort of, I don't even know what to call it, but there is something that possibly there, maybe. So we'll see on that angle. I don't want to speak early on it in case it's not true, because then it's not fair to the victims, is it? You know, if I say, "Oh, he was a gangbanger, he's out there with like two Glocks and a ghost gun and stuff," like it's not fair. It's not fair to do that to someone. So I don't know right now. When I do, I will let you know. But I've seen people speculate that there's something there on that angle. Let's see if there's anything else on this page. The interesting bit I found in that press conference, he said he did confirm that the family was alerted about a vehicle that matched the description provided by law enforcement. So the family was alerted to the car, not police. Family were. And I find that quite interesting. Did someone see it and call it in, or was it sent in by someone who wanted the bodies found? Uh, McManus, who is the cop you just saw, said he would not provide an update on the baby stating, "I'm not going to say anything about whether the person was pregnant or is pregnant. We will have to wait for the medical examiner to say that officially." That's probably just a standard thing they have to do because only a medical examiner can determine that. He said he wasn't sure whether there was a weapon in the car and that the bodies are believed to have been there for several days. The car was found a few miles from Soto's apartment. A woman could be heard weeping in the background. Yeah, did you guys hear that? I heard that too. There was a poor woman in the background completely breaking down at the press conference. McManus said San Antonio Police Department would be handling the case moving forward. They said if Leon Valley has any information, detectives will work with them on that. So it looks like they're taking over the case, probably because the bodies were found in their jurisdiction, and they will, that's how it works. Found in their lines, and that's how these things tend to happen. Yeah, I don't have much more than this. I wish I did. I think everyone's in the speculation mode right now. Just let me have a quick look at a different location for something. I will check what the Twitters are saying very quickly. Okay, the US Mirror, the Mirror USA is saying pregnant Savana Soto had injunction against partner before pair were found. That was 11 minutes ago. 11 minutes ago they shared this. Let me get rid of this. There's that photo of her. It says pregnant Savannah Soto had restraining order against partner before pair found dead. Court documents show that pregnant teen Savana Soto, 18, who was found dead next to her boyfriend Matthew Guerrero, 22, had filed a restraining order against the man for reportedly assaulting her on Christmas Day 2022, almost a year ago to when they were found. It says here, Savana Soto filed charges against her boyfriend Matthew Guerrero for beating her on Christmas Day last year, leading the court issued a protective order. According to court documents, Matthew was prohibited from intentionally, knowingly, or recklessly communicating with Savannah in a harmful or injurious manner, whether by telephone, in writing, or in person. That was Christmas a year ago. She was pregnant with his baby. Babies only take 9 months. So that was 3 months after she was, or a while after. So at some point they reconciled, apparently. It says Savannah vanished on December 23rd, 1 week after her due date. She was due to have her baby induced on Saturday. However, there were concerns when she didn't arrive. There's a photo of the boyfriend. Guys, give me 1 second. This is extremely painful. Hold on. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Um, the silly cat is under my leg. Let's see here. Oh, we're on the wrong page. There we go. There's a photo of Matthew. According to the police chief, the two had been dead for 3 to 4 days. Yeah, he described the crime scene as perplexing. If I wonder if this is a standard. I wonder if this is just a standard thing that they do, that it's been investigated as a murder. They do that down here too. They might originally say, "Hey, it's a murder," and just to get the homicide squad involved. And then when they kind of get all the details, they backtrack and say, "Hey, this is like a X, Y, and Z." But they just classify it as that to get the resources that they need to, run down everything that they have to. So we may see more on this, we may see less. According to authorities, both individuals had gunshot wounds at the scene. The unborn child was also declared dead. That's very sad. Joanne Wassel, the sister of Savannah, said the family arrived at the scene after informing the police that someone noticed the car. Wassel claimed that she had seen Matthew dead in the back and Savannah dead in the front passenger seat. She didn't want to see any more after seeing Soto's face. Only a few days after the beating on Christmas Day of last year, Guerrero broke terms of his parole for the domestic abuse charge. There's a Facebook post there's a photo of Matthew with a stack of money, and there's her. I don't know what that means, but that's that meme, that call me, I got the cash. Uh, says he was back in court in June after being charged with 3 additional felonies: driving recklessly, possessing a firearm without authorization, and eluding arrest. The defendant demonstrates being in the pre-contemplation stage and wants to continue to engage in criminal activity, the legal documents state. He also didn't go to battery counseling sessions or look for legitimate work following Savannah's. Wait, I think that's supposed to be one sentence. Yeah, they're saying he didn't go to his mandatory battery counseling sessions or look for any legitimate work while he was going through the court system. Following Savannah's disappearance, a couple's neighbor reported they saw the boyfriend arguing and beating her almost every day. The neighbor says, "I witnessed him beating her and kicking her downstairs while she was unconscious." The unnamed person also added, "He kicked her body and face. She needed stitches despite having a violent past." Matthew's mother maintained on the internet that her son was not aggressive. She says, "I know my son and he wouldn't do anything to hurt her." Mm. They're always, the mums are always thinking their kids are angels until it comes out that they're otherwise not. Let me see what you guys have to say about this. Uh, Moonlight View says his father implied this was true. Are you talking about the gang affiliation? That could be very much so. Danny Mitchell called him a punk. Yeah, very much. I think there's stronger words than that. Laura G says her definition of aggressive may need refinement, possibly. Nalana says he's a real jewel. Yeah. Ah, hold on. Let me put this up on the screen. This is interesting. I didn't see this. Gambler says, I just checked. The fight in the courtroom was the trial for the guy who murdered Savannah's brother. People in the courtroom attacked him and beat him really good. Could be a retaliation. Maybe. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. That kind of stuff happens. And beating his girl. Yeah, it does lend to some stereotypes, if that makes sense. I don't want to use poor words in relation to dead people, but it does lend to some stereotypes. Beth B says, yes, in my opinion, we are seeing inside the local gang activities. It could have been a revenge, it could have been a turf thing, it could have been money owed, it could have been all sorts of things. But yeah, that's an interesting angle. Courtroom fight. Let me see if I can find it. If I can find that video. Savana Soto. Hold on. Yes, I have a video. Here we go. If it'll load. Wow, Gambler was right. They beat him good. In the middle of a court, like a court, in front of a judge and police and sheriffs and bailiffs. Yeah, they beat him good, right? It says here, the family of pregnant teenager Savana Nicole Soto, who was found dead with her boyfriend, was seen brawling in court with a man accused of her brother's murder. Ethan Soto, 15, was shot in what is believed to be an act of revenge for a drug robbery in May 2022, according to the San Antonio police. His sister Savannah, 18, is now also dead after her body was located on Tuesday evening alongside her boyfriend Matthew Guerrera, 22, just 3 days after the pair were reported missing. On the same day, she was expected to be induced into labor. Police are now investigating their deaths as possible homicide. In a tragic parallel to the death of Ethan, who police say was murdered. So murder seems to run in the family. Just months ago, the Soto family was seen as the man. Just months ago, the Soto family was seen as the man accused of killing Ethan, Victor Nathaniel Rivas, appeared in court to face charges over his death. As Rivas took the stand, members of the Soto family were seen launching at him, triggering a huge brawl breaking out. Footage shows at least 4 members jumping a partition and throwing punches at Rivas, who allegedly provoked the group by making a gesture at them. Oh, you don't want to make gestures. They are like fighting words. I think it was just emotional. You know, it, Anytime someone's murdered in your family and then you have to attend the court case, emotions are high. Uh, you know, so I mean, I wasn't expecting this, but I get that people are on the edge. They seeing the person who took their family member's life, and things get out of hand. Says 4 people were arrested after the violent outbreak, including 2 adult males and 2 juvenile males who are expected to be charged with assault and disrupting court proceedings, all within Bexar County. So it seems like probably this family is known to the area. It says Rivas attorney Adam LaHood told KSAT they were in court for a routine preliminary hearing. He said the outburst was certainly unexpected and not something you ever want to see happen. It says the shooter reportedly lured his victim from his home in May 2022 after Ethan stole THC cartridges from Rivas. What a stupid thing to do! Like in states where THC cartridges are freely available everywhere, like you can go to any kind of shop and weed store and buy that stuff. I mean, we're still getting people killed over things that you can legally buy. Isn't it silly? Very silly. Let me see what you guys have to say. Life is cheap for gangsters. Yep. Yeah, he did escape promptly, didn't he? Let's see what else you guys have to say. 15, yep. Let me see what Moonlight View has to say. What did she say? I didn't see any of that. I was at the show, but I wasn't there until the end. So I didn't see anything about Skep or anything like that. All right. Let's move on from this. If we get more information or if they start tracking people down in relation to this, or more information comes out from the medical examiner about the death of these 2, we will talk about it on the next show. But this has been the big story running for like the last 2 days. Every time I open, every time I open a news page or a true crime thing or Twitter, I see these photos pop up, and it's what everyone wants to talk about right now. But I want to talk about this, and like I said, I wonder if this is what Nana Lana was trying to send me earlier. She tried to send me a story, but she sent me a blank email instead. And I want to know if this is the story that she wants to send me. I had to guess what story she was wanting to send me because she didn't send it to me. So, Nana Lana, is this the story you tried to send me? Fishermen spotted something shiny near a creek. It was the first step forward toward a miracle. Now, let me know if this is the one that you were trying to get to me, because this story is wild and I've never seen anything like it. Really, this guy's so lucky. And it says 2 men had gone out the day after Christmas scouting for fishing holes at a creek in northwest Indiana when something shiny in the distance caught their attention. Mario Garcia and his son-in-law, Nevado de la Torre, had been ready to call it a day, but curiosity took hold, and they went to check it out. Closer and closer they walked toward the shiny thing. There, under Interstate 94 bridge, Garcia later would recall, then it finally took shape, a mangled truck. The fisherman got even closer, right up to the driver's door. Sticking his hand inside the cabin, Garcia moved an airbag out the way to reveal something he and Nevado hadn't been able to see all the way back at Salt Creek. Somebody was in the driver's seat. The person Garcia assumed was dead. Then he touched the man's shoulder. He swung around and he woke up. Startled, Garcia asked his son to dial for help. Soon the pair of fishermen would be part of a rescue mission nearly a week in the making. It was something the pin driver had begun to think was nearly impossible, an effort destined to be described in the end by one veteran public servant with a watchword of the magical season, a miracle. And so it says here, the man in the crushed truck, Matthew R. Ream, 27, on Mishawaka, told the fisherman he had been trapped there, tightly pinned in his seat under the bridge near Portage since the prior Wednesday, December 20th. Garcia recalled later at a news conference held by state police. He'd been trapped there for like 5 or 6 days under the bridge in the cold and it's crazy. He said he tried yelling and screaming, but no one would hear him. It was just quiet, just the sound of the water. Though all alone and locked in place, the driver managed to survive the 6-day ordeal, in part by drinking rainwater. The police said the will to survive this crash was nothing short of extraordinary. Temperatures in Porter County had reached a low of 29 degrees in recent days. The state police said it's a miracle that he's alive in this weather. He's suffering from severe potential life-threatening injuries, but he was able to get to a hospital, and he has a whole bunch of surgeries ahead of him. And yeah, that's the bridge here. You can see the rescue effort. I'll try and make this a bit bigger. He was trapped under this bridgeway, and he'd been yelling for days and days, and no one could hear him because everyone wasn't around. Everyone was away for the holidays. No one was really driving, and that the people who did drive, well, they wouldn't be able to hear anyone screaming out from the bridge. Really, really crazy. I want to see if Nanlana's here. Oh, she sent me the story about Soto. Well, I guessed wrong, but that's okay. That's okay. We got to read a better story, or another story. I think this is amazing, and what a Christmas miracle that this guy. I know he's got a hard road to recovery, but it's better than dying under a bridge, where no one could like you wouldn't see anyone else before you died. I think that's a really lovely story. Thankful for those two fishermen. If they hadn't had their curiosity, he maybe never found before he passed away. I don't think he had that much time left, apparently. They were saying he was in really bad shape. He maybe had a few hours or something like that. The cold was starting to take hold and he was starting to drift out of consciousness. So maybe if they had walked away, done something different, the guy may have died before he was found. So that driver owes those two fishermen many, many beers and many, many, many trips of fishing together. Hopefully, they've made a new friend and maybe they can go on a fishing trip together once he gets out of hospital. I think that would be a nice way to repay their you know, their help. Diane Marie says, "How the heck did he survive that cold water?" I have no idea. I mean, I feel like the will to survive in that guy, it's a miracle. It really is. Marlene Clausen says he may not have been found until spring. Possibly, because people in that cold are just not getting out of their cars, really. He was so lucky that those two fishermen just happened to walk by and see something that intrigued them. He is a lucky, lucky man. I mean, we just heard a story, a horrible story of a a pregnant woman being shot and killed and her boyfriend, and then we hear this story where it's the saving of life, and I like that kind of different contrast. Moonlight View says it's scary as all get out. I think so, right? Imagine being trapped there, not knowing if anyone can hear you, and knowing that your time is running out and that you can't. Apparently, the other thing is he did have a mobile phone, but the way he was pinned in the truck, he couldn't reach it, and he could hear it ringing constantly when people were searching for him, but he couldn't answer it because he couldn't get his arm back there to pick it up. And he said that was actually the most antagonizing feelings ever. That help was right there, but he couldn't reach it. And I bet that feeling is going to stay with him for a very long time. I mean, that must be soul crushing to not be able to answer that phone and tell people where you are, to get help to you. Guys, give me 1 second. Did you guys have a great Christmas? Did everyone have a interesting Boxing Day? I know in the US you don't do Boxing Day. I know a few people in another chat were asking what is Boxing Day. We do have Boxing Day down here in Australia. Um, Someone read out on the stream what it actually was. Apparently, it was to a day to give gifts to the underprivileged or something like that. A day to give back. I found that really. I had no idea, and I've had Boxing Day here for my life. So. Hey, are we back? It dropped out. I was sitting here talking to you about Christmas and Boxing Day, and I thought I was on the air, and I wasn't. Diane Marie says, yeah, we read that. That's okay. Yeah, it may not have been able to survive against the spring. Yes, that's true. Yeah, it's a day where everyone boxes each other. Marlene Clausen says, yeah, also here it's a day the rich gave gifts to their staff members. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Wu says it's an old British tradition. The elite in Britain gave boxes to their staff the day after Christmas. What, to like move out? Here's a box, put all your stuff in it and get out. Boxing Day. It's like a threat. Boxing Day's coming. You better be ready. You better be packed. Danny Mitchell says, we never left. Okay, well, thank you for never leaving. I do want to thank Betty C for sending through a Ko-Fi coffee thing. That's really cool. Thank you, Betty C. I appreciate it. She says, great work, Ping. Yeah, the Ko-Fi thing's really interesting. You can do, it doesn't have to be that. You can do all sorts of things. I think, who figured it out? Was it Sean? Hold on, let me check the page and I'll tell you who figured it out. Was it Sean or Danny Mitchell? It was Danny Mitchell. Danny Mitchell figured out that you can actually do a uh, a monthly thing on here, so you can don't have to worry about it each month. I don't know how he figured it out. He did somehow. I don't even know how to do it, but he figured it out. So yeah, Danny, that is very cool. And Betty, thank you so much. It's very kind of you. Wu says I didn't even go to the Boxing Day sales. I restrained myself. Yeah, I didn't really do anything or like I got a little bit of money for Christmas from family and things like that, but I didn't really buy anything. There's nothing I need right now. I've been, I've got stuff and things. I got too much things that I have to, I have to throw stuff out because we got too much in the back room. It's not anything valuable. It's just like stuff we've, you know, collected over the years that we don't need anymore. So we've made a whole bunch of stuff that will go to like charity, and then there's stuff that can't, like it's just not good enough quality. It'll go to recycling and stuff like that. So I don't know. We didn't go out either. There's nothing we really were desperate to go get or see on sale. Blue Moon says, thought Boxing Day may have been where they put two kangaroos in the ring with boxing gloves and let them duke it out. Yes, it is. That's the Australian version. It's called Kangaroo Day. But that's actually on December 27th. That's the only day it's legal to fight kangaroos in Australia. All right, what was our third story? Okay, Lily James. You guys remember Lily James? We spoke about her a couple of months ago. She was murdered at her work in Sydney by a jealous ex boyfriend. This is Lily James right there. Apparently, Lily James' parents to sue private school. Apparently, they're going to sue St. Andrew's Cathedral for gross negligence and duty of care. She was at work at the time, so it says Lily James murderer. Guys, give me 1 second. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Apparently, delivery drivers do come during the holidays. I don't know why. I wasn't even expecting anything. Let's see. Danny Mitchell says, we're seeing a pattern here, dating bad guys. Apparently so. It says here, Lily James' murderer reportedly used a hammer he killed her with just hours earlier to arrange desks for HSC exams at the prestigious Sydney school. The Daily Mail has reported the chilling detail as investigators continue into the final moments of both Lily James and the hockey coach Paul's life. The discovery of Miss James' lifeless body in the gym bathroom at St Andrew's Cathedral occurred shortly after midnight on October 25th. The story of this is quite horrific. After he murdered Lily James, he actually used her phone to send a message to her father telling him to come to the school because she needed to be picked up. So he baited her father into coming to the school and discovering her body. Like, how sadistic do you have to be to do that to someone, like especially her dad? I mean, he was a really sick guy. It says Daily Mail reported that Thizden appeared upbeat on the day of Miss James' murder and eagerly anticipated hockey coaching at St Vincent's College, the other school where he worked the following day. St Andrew's Cathedral School, where Miss James coached water polo, had asked him to set up desks in the gymnasium for HSC students. The task reportedly involved using a hammer and other tools from the school storeroom. Some of the school's international students were amid their finals, while Year 12 students had started their HSC exams 2 weeks prior to the murder. There's a photo of Paul. He looks like your everyday young guy, and he ended up being a overprotective, super jealous, unable to handle rejection killer. He killed possibly the first woman or serious relationship he ever had. He killed her, murdered her out of a fit of rage or jealousy that she didn't want him anymore, and that she thought the relationship was too intense for such a short relationship. It says here, Thishjan and Miss James, who had a brief 5-week relationship, reportedly met at the school gym after 6 p.m. on October 24. It was reported at the time that New South Wales police detectives understood Paul had been captured on CCTV purchasing a hammer at a hardware store that Wednesday morning, leading them to believe he was armed with 2 hammers. CCTV footage from the school reportedly shows the pair entering the gym bathroom, with Paul leaving over an hour later. About 2 hours after the reported murder, security cameras at Vaucluse, 12 kilometers away, captured Paul. Notably, this was the same location the young coach had visited with Miss James weeks prior. There's another photo of her, very lovely looking young lady. He said, returning to Vaucluse after the crime, Paul again captured on security cameras inside the house of Miss James' friend. He arrived in a rented white Lexus at 8:47 p.m., allegedly dumping the murder weapon in a bin at 9:04 p.m., and then spent 2 hours in his car before reporting the crime to Triple O just before midnight. Using Miss James' phone, he had already texted her father pretending to be her, asking him to pick her up from St Andrews. The Triple O call was traced back to the Gap in Sydney's eastern suburbs, where an abandoned backpack containing some of his belongings were found, though he could not be found, and a search ensued. They found him the next morning. They'll detail it here. A day-long search in Vaucluse did not yield any results, but on Friday morning, October 27th, tradies working above Diamond Bay Reserve spotted Paul's lifeless body wedged in the rocks. The tragic events have raised concerns about femicide in Sydney and the safety of women in the months since. I don't think it raised any concerns. I think we all know, just listening to true crime, that there's a strong sort of thing going on right now where it has been for years that young women are ending up dead at the hands of male perpetrators. I don't think it's any secret, and I don't think it's any surprise. We've seen it. We've seen it a lot. Siana says, let me see what Siana says. Hold on, let me see what Sienna says. Where are you, my dear? Sienna says, I love all the chatters here. This is an awesome group of people, and Ping is great. I am lucky to be here. That is very kind of you. Thank you. Where is it? Danny Mitchell says, probably in hell with Brian Laundrie. They would probably make best buddies, right? They seem like very similar people. I don't know. Maybe she cottoned on to something wasn't right, and that's why their relationship only lasted 5 weeks. 5 weeks is not a huge amount of time for a relationship. It's very early on in the courtship kind of stage, so I can't imagine he, um, you know, that they were all that serious. So to murder her after 5 weeks after her breaking up with him. It's a real overreaction to the situation. Very severe overreaction. I can feel a cat under me. What is going on? Hey, Marv, what's wrong, buddy? Are you scared? Little cat, where is he? Um, Wu says, I did a big grocery shop this morning, got a gift card for Woolworths. Oh, isn't that sweet? That's always a handy gift at Christmas, isn't it? Look now. Moonlight View, what about the laundries? I'm sickened at their behavior. Yeah, I mean, I think everyone is. Another terrible death. Yes. I heard his parents refused to bring his body back to the Netherlands, and they have not arranged anyone to pick up his ashes from the crematorium in Sydney. His remains, his ashes, are still located at the crematorium, and they've made no attempt to send them back to the Netherlands or have someone pick them up and scatter them somewhere. They're still located at the place. No one's quite sure what's going to happen with them, but maybe the police will scatter them at a unknown location. That's happened before with killers, where killers who have died. The police have taken the ashes and scattered them at a secret location, and not told people where that location is. Um, I suspect that may happen here too. Because, yeah, his parents don't want anything to do with it, apparently. I think it's the shame brought on their family, unfortunately. And they probably feel very victimized themselves by their son's actions. So, Marlon Clausen says there was just a story about a man killing a woman with a knife like last week in a real estate office. Yes. That was a little different, though. That wasn't a relationship. That was a some sort of random crime, but I'll show it to you. Employer of Julie Seed, who was allegedly murdered at Plimpton, speaks about random attacks. So that was Julie Seed, who was stabbed at the Plimpton. That's who you're talking about. So apparently Queensland did cop a destructive tornado. Ah, damn it. There we go. Apparently Queensland did cop a destructive tornado. I didn't know that. I figured because they had such crazy storms, but there was a destructive tornado up there yesterday. Hold on. I had a feeling that damage had to have been a tornado. The damage up there was crazy. It had to have been a rain-wrapped tornado. Yeah, Queensland tornado, Gold Coast. Yeah, definitely. I had a feeling because there was just so much damage in Queensland at the time. Broken power poles, like concrete power poles. That doesn't make any sense for an outflow storm or some sort of microburst or something. It's just not strong enough. But a tornado with that type of weather up there, 100%. Not uncommon. Uncommon for the Gold Coast, but not uncommon for Queensland. Queensland's had rain-wrapped tornadoes before. So, the employer of a woman who was murdered and another seriously injured in Adelaide's southwest has spoken out for the first time to praise witnesses and paramedics who helped save the life of one of their colleagues. Julie Seed was allegedly stabbed at a real estate business she worked at on Lydia Street in Plimpton on Wednesday afternoon. The 38-year-old died at the scene. Another employee, Susan Scandigno, 50, suffered serious injuries and was taken to the Royal Adelaide Hospital. Police arrested Sean Michaels Dunk, 30, at the scene before charging him with 1 count of murder and 1 count of attempted murder. So there you go. That's the story that you were talking about. But I don't understand what the background is to that man. Just that he went in there and decided to stab him. Yeah, officers previously said the man was not known to the two women and that the stabbing was suspected to be random. So while they were young women and they did die in a murder, I don't believe that's, not quite the same as a, restrictive ex or boyfriend or something like that. But it is still a young woman that is no longer here, because someone hurt them. I want to see what this says. Look at this. Yeah, you remember I showed you the damage the other night on Christmas? That I had a feeling that night that the damage we were seeing had to be a tornado. It was just too widespread, too severe to just be a storm. Look at this poor guy's house.
Len Latuis has lived in this home in the Gold Coast hinterland for 40 years. He was in bed when the tornado hit like a bomb blast. There's almost nothing left standing.
In this end of the house, you wouldn't have survived and you'd have been hit for sure. And I just don't know how the dogs got out.
A lifetime's worth of possessions wiped out in 15 terrifying minutes.
Yeah, that's great.
His neighbours helping him salvage anything of sentimental value. From the air, you can see how lucky the 74-year-old was to make it out alive. Dozens of houses were blown to smithereens. For the owners, it's hard to know where to start. Sam Bray hid under his car as his home was torn apart.
I'm just glad I'm alive at this point, because there was a time there when I didn't know what was going to happen.
The people who were inside this house behind me as the storm passed through described it as harrowing, as heavy rain and winds ripped the roof off the top of the house.
Homes completely uninhabitable.
Roof's out on the street right now, as well as down in the field. The shed's been blown to smithereens, the roofs are falling in, water dripping through the whole house, obviously.
This plant nursery was flattened. The damage bill is likely hundreds of thousands of dollars.
The guy at the end of the street's been here 57 years. He's never seen anything like it.
In Helensvale, fallen trees line every street, one smashing the roof of this local primary school, others littering a golf course and crushing cars. It's the biggest task Energex has faced in decades. They're trying to reconnect power to more than 80,000 residents. It will likely take them weeks. The Gold Coast Mayor says residents were not properly warned the destructive storm cell was on the way and wants to know why.
I think it's unforgivable. So we've got to sort it that it doesn't happen again.
The Bureau of Meteorology says it issued severe weather warnings days in advance.
It's very hard for them to be predicting the kinds of events that we haven't really seen before.
Julia Andre, ABC News, Gold Coast.
I think that's a cop-out. To say that it's hard to predict tornadoes or, severe supercells, that's a joke. United States meteorologists have been doing it for 35 years, if not longer. And if we can get these dual pole radars in and installed in the next couple of years, that'll go a long way to identifying rotating supercells in hard-hit areas like Gold Coast, Queensland, northern New South Wales, and southern New South Wales, and western New South Wales as well. It is imperative that they keep investing into those radar systems to help identify these storms. They happen all the time, and far more than I think we ever realize. I mean, I've been out there, I've chased these storms out there, and I've seen things that are never reported, never even get into any of the warnings, and you don't even see it on the radar because you're so far out from the radar that the radar beam goes over the top of the storm or just hits the top of the storm. So you're not getting a full coverage of what the internal of the storm where you are looks like. So we were actually on a huge supercell out in the west at one point, and on the local radar, it didn't show anything. It showed nothing was there. It just showed like a little tiny speck, but there was this full raging supercell, rotating supercell, and yeah, it wasn't even on the radar. So I think that's a rubbish thing for that guy to say on that video. If that really was a tornado, and I believe it, those storms were very intense. And when you hear things like snapping concrete power poles, the first thing I think about is a tornado because I don't think an outflow storm could do that, or even a microburst. Maybe a microburst, possibly, but yeah. Anyways, so I don't want to whinge about it. I get really mad when people say stuff like that with weather because we could do more to help people and warn people. We could have what they call nowcasting, and nowcasting is where, and they do it at the bureau. They have someone watching the radar and looking for rotation and couplets and things like that. So I don't know. I feel like Australia's bureau is underfunded and could do with a lot more funding to bring more technology, better systems, better systems for the public, and then training and hiring more people down here so events like this, even on a public holiday, could be covered properly like they do with the National Weather Service. Wu says, I just messaged my sister-in-law in Queensland about the storms. They've been really lucky, not too bad where they are in North Brisbane, which is interesting because North Brisbane normally cops it. Woo says, that's why I left Brothers Christmas Day and raced home. There was a huge storm, saw it on the radar. Woos, we were on Christmas Day. No, we were on Boxing Day here. There was a massive supercell that crossed Canberra at one point. I had it on the live show. I was showing it. It was Canberra copped some really huge storms at the time. All right, my friends. What time is it? I've got to let you go in a minute because you guys go over and hang out with Trish. Did we cover our stories? We covered the Soto, we covered Lily James, we covered the guy under the bridge, and you guys got some tornado information at the end. Beth B, that's called power flashes. Yeah. Beth B says, we learned to look at the horizon for flashing lights as electrical transformers blue as the storm approaches. Yeah, called power flashes. So if you see that, it normally means there's a tornado on the ground because it's snapping power lines or hitting transformers as it comes through. It's a pretty good way to tell if you've got a tornado. I would like to see some footage from where this purported tornado was from, and if they do see any power flashes going off. High winds can cause it too. Same with microburst, it can cause it, but you should be able to piece a few things together. Power flashes, is there a couplet? Does the storm look good on the radar? Can you see any rotation in the radar? Is there any, there's quite a few things you can look at. Thanks, Blue Moon. Great to see you. I saw this. I just want to address this before we go. This is from Moonlight View. At least I'm pretty sure it's Moonlight View. I hope I've got the right Kim. She says, Happy New Year. Thank you for bringing us all together. That is really sweet of you. And I hope I got the right person. I'm pretty sure it is. And that's very, very kind of you. It's really sweet of you. Kelly in Texas says, thank you, Ping. Beth B says, they sound like a train too. Yeah, I think that guy in the footage said he sounded like his hearing was going crazy. You also can get pressure drop where your ears pop too, sort of like in an aeroplane. and that's because as a tornado moves over you, the pressure drops over you and your ears will pop. Wu says, was amazing, Ping. We've had some good storms lately. Send them down here. We haven't had a good supercell in like, I don't know, 3 years. The last time I chased a supercell down in Victoria was 4 years ago. We need to get some big ones down here soon, I hope. Marlene Clausen says, Ping, how is grandma? She is doing better as far as I know. She'll get a checkup, I think, later this week or early next week. But I think she's just at home recovering, and I think she's going to have another scan to have a look at her eye socket in the next week or so. So I appreciate it all. I know Trish has a good show for you planned. I can have a quick look and tell you what she has on. Hold on, I'll tell you. What does it say here? It says Hildebrandt pleads guilty. Gypsy Rose goes free in hours. Is Gypsy Rose that one that murdered her mum? Hold on. It is. Gypsy Rose is the one that murdered her mum. They did a movie based on her. It was her and her boyfriend killed the mum, and the mum was had that illness where they hurt the child. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. Moonlight View will know what it is, the illness. But yeah, apparently she's going to go free. She was granted parole in September 2023. I would love to hear about that. So go hang out with Trish. I think she's got all the info about Gypsy Rose. So Reby says the arthritis in my fingers and thumbs start to throb when a storm approaches. The change in the barometric pressure. Yeah. Yes, it's Munhauser by proxy, right? So yes, thank you, Marlene Clausen. I appreciate that. Yeah, guys, I'll be back. Tomorrow might be at a weird time, unfortunately. I have a family gathering, and I don't know what time I will be on, but I will be on at some point. I'm sorry, it's just holiday week. Everyone wants to go and do stuff and see people, and uh, my free days are getting booked up like by the minute, apparently. But I will be on at some point. We'll hang out, I promise. And yeah, go hang out with Trish. Thank you all for being here tonight. I'm sorry it was cut short by about 10 minutes, but yeah, we'll be back soon with more true crime. We'll keep an eye on that Soto case. I really want to see what happens and if they can find the person responsible. So I love you all. Have a great night with Trish. And remember, we have a huge show coming up on New Year's Eve. It's almost 4 to 5 hours long. It's going to be a great night. We have special guests coming in as well. We have guests happening. And if you have a party that night, come on and show us what's going on at your house on the live stream, okay? So you'll learn more about that in the coming days. Until then, good night, everyone. Love you all. See you later. From Ping and Muffin and everyone else and Mrs. Ping, good night.